All right, we are live now, just so you're aware, because I know I sneak
Sure.
that on you sometimes.
You do.
But
I don't
but
always look at the correct screen.
it's for real now. It's for real now. We are
For
live,
real,
guys.
real?
For reals. Like no cap,
No play?
no play, no play. Oh, let's please make that a thing, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. He's Jack. Say hello, Jack.
Hi, everybody. For real, not for play.
For real. How you doing tonight, man?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
I think the word is well rested.
What's that like?
Disconcerting. So, guys, after the stream I did with Satsu, so Jack, after this show,
Uh-huh.
I went and did a game stream, and then I went and talked with Satsu for several hours, going over a video from the 7 Days to Die developers.
Oh, okay.
And so, right after that, I went to sleep because my head, after the medicine mishap, was funky all day. And this is about 11:30. I lay down and I woke up a couple of times to go to the bathroom. I woke up when Lady Monkey came to bed, and I finally wake up for real at about 12:40 a.m. I slept like 12 hours. So if any of you guys had your house burned down, I apologize. That's on me.
He doesn't sleepwalk. He just creates natural disasters by sleeping.
Yeah. I'm like an X-Man.
Yeah.
With the worst power ever.
That really is. It really. Well, no, that guy Maggot had the worst power, create maggots.
But you could do that when you wanted to. I can't direct what, horrible things happen.
Sure you can. You don't sleep.
But when I do, what I'm getting at is I have no control over what those things are.
You need to learn to control it. You need to go to Xavier's school for gifted children.
That's like having X-ray vision that only works sometimes. And it turns out the only time it works is when you're looking at a dude's crotch for whatever reason. It's like, oh man, schlong again. How mad would you be? It's like, oh my god, it's finally working on a woman, and it goes down and they're schlong.
Well, you could get a job at TSA.
I guess so. But ladies and gentlemen, we're here to try to entertain you for a couple of hours tonight, and we'll see how well we can do that. However, the biggest story that I wanted to talk about, the headline there, the thumbnail there, we can't do as in-depth as I wanted to because the people who are in charge of it are inept. What I mean by that is Jim Jordan, he takes the Judiciary Committee to New York City, Jack.
A field trip. Yay. Did they all get their permission slip signed?
I don't know. Some of them might have had to forge it because their moms are dead because they're really, really fucking old.
What, did they get their caretaker's permission?
Probably, because they usually let them do whatever the hell they want to.
Or did Dianne Feinstein go? Because her Chinese overlords might need to sign off.
No, this was the House, not the Senate.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. So
you never know. Some of these people are pretty old. They just wander around in different areas.
And we do have a House and Senate Judiciary Committee, so easy to ask. Well, the other day, C-SPAN, who usually covers congressional things, came out and said they won't be doing this because of the kind of partisan nature of it.
Oh.
It's kind of got some partisan nature to it, apparently. Which is weird because I'm fairly certain they covered the impeachment. That was totally nonpartisan, though. Nonpartisan impeachment hearing.
Yeah, obviously.
Both times.
Somebody said so, ergo fact.
So the only place that I could find that actually did cover it, Jack, where you can watch the whole thing, and I'll throw this into chat for you guys, but we're not going to watch it here, is Forbes. And we're not watching it because we're worried about copyright or anything. We're not watching it because the volume is atrocious. It is so bad. I was telling Jack, there's one point where somebody is talking. I can see their lips moving, and I thought I'd muted my volume. And so I turned it up, and no, sure enough, he's at full volume. I just can't hear the motherfucker. So we don't get to watch it, Jack. And so instead, I pulled up an article from The Hill.
Woo, that's exciting.
Woohoo! The 5 takeaways from Jim Jordan's trip to New York City. Now, this is a
Little
trip.
Jimmy in New York.
This is a trip that is there because of Alvin Bragg. They're looking into Mr. Braggy Bragg. And what we need to talk about before we even begin, Jack.
Okay.
One of the reasons this is happening is because Alvin Bragg gets up there when he announces the charges against Donald Trump, and he tells us they do not allow crime there in New York City. They punish crime in New York City. A couple of the people that are up there in front of
They punish crime. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. If it's Donald Trump, it didn't even say we punish major crime. Yeah. Oh no, something monkey had to read. Well, I mean, that's not a problem until it gets to what we're about to do, where I read it to you guys. So good luck to you. A new battle in the political war over former President Donald Trump's indictment took place in New York on Monday. Hey, there you go. I already screwed up. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, a key Trump ally, held a field hearing.
Ooh.
The hearing's official title was Victims of Violent Crime in Manhattan, and several such victims did testify. But the hearing was plainly aimed at Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, Democrat, who led the probe that resulted in Trump's indictment earlier this month on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. Here are the big takeaways from the 4-hour hearing. It was actually 3.5 hours. That's you kind of lied there.
A 3-hour hearing.
Trump loomed over everything. Well, no shit.
Like literally, was he like hovering?
No, but that would have been funny.
That would have been funny.
If he just stood in the background with his arms crossed staring.
That'd have been awesome.
The centrality of the former president to the proceedings was obvious from the opening moments. It was obvious from when they announced this hearing. Because this was clearly about Bragg. What's going on is Jordan is investigating what's going on with the Trump indictment because it doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. We've talked about it. We went over the indictment when it was dropped. It's nonsensical. But Bragg's making it sound like he's out there, like he's the fucking Punisher, just bringing vengeance to those who deserve it.
It's called Justice, Monkey.
I'm sorry, Justice.
Yeah.
Jordan, in the process of making the broader argument that Bragg was too lenient on criminals, asserted that, quote, the scales of justice are weighed down by politics in Manhattan. Yeah.
Is that a cheap shot at Bragg's fatness?
No, I don't think that's what it is. I think that's them trying to pretend that it's not really true.
Oh, well, they're full of shit then. My dad made a point today that Alvin Bragg looks like his head is made out of an egg.
I think it looks like a potato. I really do. And he's got the darker skin, so it's got like the potato skin to it. I'm just saying. There was a time, Jack, when something like the Trump indictment would have led to every editorial board in the country, including television stations, releasing an editorial going, this is a bunch of nonsense. Instead, today, they're out there making excuses for why this absolutely, get that bastard. And it's all just because they hate Trump. Because our news all sucks these days. The GOP aimed to hit Bragg with a combination punch, arguing that the DA and his party are soft on crime, while also suggesting Bragg is wrongfully focused on Trump's alleged wrongdoing for partisan reasons. Both of those things are true. We've seen how soft he is on crime, Jack.
Yeah.
Over and over, this guy letting bad guys out, not just letting them out and get away with shit, coming out with policies that the mayor, that Eric Adams had to come out and go, whoa, dude, I ran on being tough on crime. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
We read about that when it happened too. He had to come out and correct Bragg and be like, dude, you can't do this shit. I'm going to lose my next election.
Yeah, he probably will anyway, but that's neither here nor there.
Even many Trump critics believe the case against the former president looks flimsy, because it is.
Flimsy's underselling it.
Very underselling it. Once Jordan turned the microphone over to ranking member Jerry Nadler, Democrat of New York, the issue of Trump came into even sharper relief. Nadler insisted that the hearing was only taking place at all. Well, it was because Jordan was doing the bidding of Donald Trump. I mean, is it doing the bidding of Donald Trump, or is it the Republicans finally fighting back in a way that's actually makes sense?
It's so rare the Republicans fight back. I think this is just confusing everyone.
I think this is a perfect opportunity that for them to show Trump being attacked in a purely partisan way by a purely partisan DA, and there's no getting around it. There's too much evidence that that's exactly what it is. Now, the press isn't going to cover it that way, which is the one failing of this, but I don't think you can get around that anyway.
No, not with those commie leeches and running things.
Nadler further charged that Republicans on the committee have designed the event, quote, to intimidate and deter the duly elected district attorney of Manhattan from doing the work his constituents elected him to do.
Oh, the work.
The work that they I'm pretty sure that they didn't hire them to get Trump on what basically amounts to 34 misdemeanor charges of writing the wrong thing down.
Yeah. Well, he wrote the same thing like 34 times, right? That's how this works.
Well, actually, only 17, because the other 17 were Cohen writing it down.
Oh, the fucking monster.
But Trump made him write it down wrong.
Of course he did, because Trump is evil.
The shadow of Trump hung over the rest of the hearing. All right, Democrats, this is takeaway number 2. Democrats tread carefully around the witnesses. Now, the reason they had to tread carefully around the witnesses, Jack, is these are all people who were up there who were either the victims of violent crime themselves or family of victims of violent crime. That wasn't prosecuted in a meaningful way. Democrat members of the panel had to grapple with a politically delicate task, assailing the hearing itself, but without making it seem as if they were also downplaying the experiences of key witnesses.
Oh, their lived experiences?
Yes.
Dumb.
Those witnesses included Madeleine Dean, who lost her son, Army Sergeant Hassan. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Korea, in an especially brutal 2018 homicide. Dean is now the chairwoman of the Victims' Rights Reform Council. She alleged that Bragg and her office had treated her family like garbage. No. Look, Bragg is going after those violent criminals who at worst misfiled paperwork.
Yeah.
I realize your son was brutally beaten and killed, but is that anything compared to Donald Trump writing down the wrong dollars for banging Stormy Daniels? Look, your son dying. I get it. That's a thing. But do you realize how important it is to businesses in New York that we got to make sure that all their paperwork is right? It's got to be perfect, pristine. Don't pay attention to any of the other businesses that, are doing shit like this. Also testifying was Barry Brogan, I think, whose son was badly beaten in a 2021 anti-Semitic attack. He got beat up because he was a Jew, Jack.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll happen in New York. There'd be a lot of anti-Semites there in office. Oh, I mean, it's just in general.
They're Jew beating in New York, but that is nothing compared to Donald Trump maybe paying off Stormy Daniels, and then instead of writing on his business forms, pay off to a dirty whore, wrote, this is for my lawyer.
Well, hoe payment didn't seem appropriate.
Republicans contend the Democrats on the panel were being dismissive of those voices because they absolutely were. They said that they were being I forget the exact wording, but basically used. And when Jordan gets his turn to ask questions, he actually goes through there and asks him, "Do you feel like you're being taken advantage of?" And you know what they all said? No. And the black lady, I forget her name. She might have been the one that was just referenced in the article. She said, "No, actually, I finally feel like my voice is being heard."
Wow.
You think that's going to be a headline anywhere?
No, but it should be.
Jim Jordan allows victims' voices to be heard?
Fucking monster.
Nah, bro, that ain't going to be on no headline. Republicans contend that the Democrat
is that him or me? I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hello. Jim Jordan abused the survivors for political gain? Yeah, probably. Domo arigato monkey roboto. Yeah, he just kind of... Yeah, I think he got raptured. His internet's been acting screwy. So I don't know what's going on. I know it pisses him off royally when it happens, though.
That
it should.
Sucks.
Oh, you're good?
That sucks. Yes, it cut me off right as I'm reading about that fucking horrible bitch. I'm so sorry about that, guys. It kicked me completely out of the internet for a second there, Jack.
Yeah, I figured as much. Every now and then it's my internet, and it makes me worry because half the time I'm looking away from the screen when it happens. So I always try to look at the screen because otherwise, it might implode your internet.
Now that one was so bad here I had to re-enter Streamlabs. Sorry about that, guys. So let's get back to this horrible bitch, Madeleine Dean. I don't know how much you heard, but we'll do it again. But addressing them directly, she's talking to there's an underlying.
Dude, you were breaking up real bad.
No, you don't like to hear it. Your voices are important at the same time. I can't, just not the one that she's talking about.
Hey, monkey, come back. He had too much sleep. His internet didn't, apparently.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's busting up pretty bad there. Only when you try and talk. When you're saying like, "Oh, son of a bitch," I get that just fine. So it doesn't want you quoting this woman.
I switched over. I want to, maybe she's listening in. She doesn't want to have the whole world hear what a fucking bitch she is with what she said here. I'm muting for just a second. Can you talk, Jack?
Yeah. What's up, chat? How's it going? We got an exciting show planned. Don't worry. All that sleep fucked up his internet. Yeah, no shit. Susan knows.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're good.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. I switched to one of my other things. Hopefully it makes it better. We'll see what happens going here. Sorry, guys, technical issues.
That happens.
Yeah.
What happens with the live show?
If we don't have any more, I won't, get down about it. If it happens again, I'll be like, maybe we'll try the satellite. I'm trying, guys. We're trying to keep the show going, but all right, let's try one last time to say what this idiot woman was saying.
Before you do that, thank you, Keldrick. The stairs couldn't kill monkeys, so they came for his internet.
Yes.
Yeah, it's trying to make you suffer.
All right. So this is Representative Madeleine Dean, Democrat from Pennsylvania. She said this: there's an underlying sham going on here. I know you don't like to hear it. Your voices are important, but two things can be true at the same time.
That kind of contradicts the Democrat talking points.
I say, did that make it all the way through?
Don't jinx it.
We have a win, you guys. Now, she's not wrong that there's an underlying sham going on here.
Yeah, it's the whole trial thing of Trump.
It is exactly that. Remember, these are people who are either victims of or had family members who were victims of violent crime.
Yeah.
The thing that Alvin Bragg should be going after, the thing that when he gets up there and while he's talking about white collar crime, where he says we don't allow horrendous crimes to happen in our city, he allowed it to happen in his city.
Well, he doesn't consider those to be actual violent crimes because they happen to the peasants.
Yeah.
When the peasants are afraid, they're no danger to the government.
All right. Next up, pitched battle over statistics. This is takeaway number 3. If any neutral observer were watching the proceeding, they would surely have been confused about the blizzard of statistics pointing in different directions. Jordan, in his introductory remarks, referred to the 23% surge in major crimes in New York during 2022. Jim Kessler, a moderate liberal third way group, contended that, quote, New York is safer on average than Ohio, Texas, and many other places.
Yeah, I'm calling bullshit on that.
Various other statistics were slung back and forth between the parties. The hearing in that respect was a continuation of the ongoing battles between Bragg and Jordan. Jordan's repeatedly asserted that Bragg has been soft on crime and that crime has risen as a result. He's absolutely been soft on crime. There is no question about that.
Yeah, and there's tons of subway videos of people fighting.
Bragg, in a legal filing suing Jordan last week, contended that homicides in New York have declined 14% year on year as of this month. Now, notice the difference in what Jordan said and what Bragg is saying here. Jordan says a 23% surge in major crimes. That is assault, rape, things like grand theft, major crimes.
Yeah, carjacking.
Up 23%. Now, notice what Bragg says. Homicides are down 14. Well, all right. Let me just give him that one, Jack. I'm not even going to argue with it. Good job. You got homicides down 14%, even though they've gone up like 20 in the last couple of years. But you got homicides down. What about all the other crimes? The ones where your own policies, where you're like, as long as it's not a murder, we're going to be pretty nice to you. Those crimes have surged, you fucknut.
Well, he fixed them all with restorative justice, right?
Yeah, sure. So you ladies out there in New York that are getting raped, just be thankful you're not being murdered.
Yeah.
It could have been worse. You could have been murdered.
Yeah. Well, it's not murder anymore. It's assisted suicide.
It's assisted non-compliant suicide.
Yeah, and if they wing a couple people, in a sense, it's just like an abortion or something.
Issue number 4, takeaway number 4. One more battle in the culture wars. Monday's hearing was just one more battle in a much broader culture war. Representative Wesley Hunt, a Republican from Texas, characterized Bragg as a woke district attorney aligned with liberal financier and philanthropist George Soros, as well as the Black Lives Matter movement. None of that is untrue. Yeah, instead of characterized, rightly stated would have been the proper term to have wrote there.
Yeah.
Spudgun, thank you so much for the donation there. Megatron has fallen. Hail Starscream. Have to Starscream. Fair enough.
Thank you, Spudgun.
It depends on which Starscream, because in the movie, Starscream's kind of cool. In the cartoons, he was kind of a bitch.
Yeah. Well, if I'm like, monkey's gone, I am the winner, then I'm kind of a dick. So,
and in fairness, Starscream was a much cooler toy because he turned into a jet. Megatron just kind of turned into a blob.
No, Megatron turned into the gun.
Is that what he turned into?
Yeah, the original toy turned him into a gun.
Anyhow, thank you for the donation. Guys, we are brought to you by you. Hit the like button to share. Please share these streams, Rumble and YouTube. Friends, your family, that bitch you hate. And if you can, donate to Jack or myself. Link is at the top of your YouTube chat for our Streamlabs. And those Streamlabs links are underneath each video. A short time earlier, Representative Dan Goldman, a Democrat of New York. Have you noticed how many of these are from New York?
An impressive amount of them.
Anyway, pressed Brogan, the father of a man who was beaten in an anti-Semitic attack, about whether verbal attacks on Bragg that referenced Soros were anti-Semitic. That's what happened. Though the witness averred in general terms, he agreed that one sign from an anti-Soros protester was plainly anti-Semitic. You asked a guy.
One sign.
You asked a guy whose kid was beaten nearly to death in an anti-Semitic attack if attacks on George Soros were anti-Jew. You thought that was the proper thing to do. What kind of horrible shitbag are you, Dan Goldman? And you bring up one sign from some piece of shit who probably does hate Jews, Jack. But you didn't bring up any of those from the left, did you?
I want to know, was that sign held by de Blasio in a Groucho mask?
Probably. There were too the attack on media that are commonplace on the most pro-Trump wing of the GOP. Representative Troy Nehls, during his remarks, blasted the dishonest media. You in the back, you are the greatest threat to this country, he told reporters. Well, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. And finally, number 5 here. Democrats seek to focus on guns. There was a great exchange during when Jim Jordan is up there actually asking his questions. This isn't during his opening statement because him and Nadler each get to give an opening statement, and then they typically wait a while before they do their questioning. And I told you he already asked the witnesses, hey, do you feel like you're being used up here? He gets into an argument with this chick about gun control. And she's like, what we really need is a national gun control thing. And Jordan didn't do what I wanted him to. He kept focusing on the fact that the Democrats had control of Congress the last several years and didn't do anything like that. But what he could have done quite easily is just been like, New York could have done something about that. You guys have stricter gun control laws here. Why hasn't that helped? Democrats tried throughout the hearing to focus on the connection between crime and guns. Representative Adriano Espaillat, another Democrat from New York, said of trying to address crime without putting guns front and center, you just can't do it. At one point, Jordan contended that if Democrats cared so passionately about gun control, they should have done more to advance it when they held both chambers of the Congress, as well as the White House up until January. That charge sparked an interjection from Nadler. It did, but it didn't. What they're about to say is actually wrong, and I'll explain why in a minute. Who pointed out the impossibility of getting such legislation through the Senate without some degree of GOP support. Because of the filibuster, you need 60 votes, and we got no Republican votes, and that's why it didn't pass, the New York Democrats said. All right. In reality, what happened is Nadler called for a point of order, and Jim Jordan told him no. So Nadler brought that up later. It did happen, but not the way that they kind of describe it there. Yeah, he's like, no, I'm going to somebody else right now. So there it is. There's the 5 takeaways that at least the Hill took from this. oddly enough, not much of that deals with the actual Alvin Bragg being soft on crime while he's pretending that Trump just violated the most sacred of sacred laws that were ever sacredly passed.
He did violate the most sacred of sacred laws. He went against the commies.
That's true, but that's not how they mean it.
No, that's the only one that matters to them.
You're right. And you know what? I would love reporters pointing that out, but they're not gonna.
No, why would they want to do that?
So there it is. I wish we could watch more because there are some interesting exchanges in there. And guys, I did throw the link in earlier.
I just did it again.
I appreciate that. Just a warning, you will have to turn it way the fuck up. But don't turn it up at the beginning. At the very beginning, they go to do the Pledge of Allegiance and Jim announces who's going to do it, and the volume's normal. And so if you turn it up real high at the beginning, it's going to blast your ears. Wait until you actually hear it drop.
I would have kind of liked to have seen Hank Johnson go on this committee, and then he gets separated from the group, and it turns into like a Home Alone 2 reboot. And he has a wacky adventure, like a cross between Home Alone 2 and Baby's Day Out.
I don't think Hank Johnson would have gone there because technically it's an island. He might be worried it's going to capsize.
I know, and that would be the crux of the story: is he has to save the island of Manhattan from flipping.
He's got to get a whole bunch of people to move from the north side to the south side to keep it from flipping.
Yes, and
but not too many.
And it has a musical number like West Side Story, and there would be
you could have a song called "Flippin' Out."
Yeah, of course. I mean, that'd be the theme song.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's mandatory. But yeah, you can have all kinds of great, hilarious shenanigans in there where he's just sort of wandering around and some bungling burglars mistake him for somebody else that doesn't even look like Hank Johnson. Like they think he's like Don Johnson or something.
Sure.
And I would watch the shit out of this movie. He's just like totally oblivious, thinks he's got to save the island from flipping over and exposing all the garbage because Manhattan used to be a garbage dump. So when it flips, he's worried he'll expose garbage to everything and create an environmental catastrophe. So he's saving the world, right?
Indeed.
I would watch that.
He's saving everybody. How high does he have to be in that movie, though? As high as he was that day on the house floor?
Yes. So dead sober.
Because that dude was fucked up in that clip.
Yeah, and half the movie is going to focus on him being wacky and Jim Jordan constantly trying to find him and missing him by just moments, and everybody around him being completely confused by what just happened. They're like, this crazy dude walked through here to be like, oh my God, was he a tall black guy that kept talking about Guam? Yeah, he thinks we're Guam. Oh my God, I gotta find him. And he's scrambling to find him, and they just keep it like it'll turn into like a Scooby-Doo chase scene where Hank goes in one door and then Jordan runs after him, but he's coming out a different door.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun times. I wrote this in my head while you were talking, and I think it's a blockbuster winner.
I do wonder, when Hank Johnson said that, was Marion Barry still the mayor of Washington, D.C.?
I don't think so.
Because that would make sense. He was hanging out with Marion beforehand and hit the crack pipe a little bit.
Yeah, that would make too much sense. More likely he was hanging out with that dude in Florida that got busted with the hookers and meth.
Gilliam.
Yeah.
Andrew Gilliam. Is it Gilliam or Gillum? I always say it wrong.
I don't think it matters.
So anyway, guys, there it is. And look, I'm not sure that it's Congress's job to be going around the country like this and being like, hey, that's a bad person. Frankly, I think that should be the Justice Department doing it.
Yeah, but they're
corrupt.
Yeah. They have no interest in following the rules.
But it would be nice to see our representatives who are up there, at least for them to admit what's going on there. Because the Democrats who are up there like, hey, look, there's some underhanded stuff. You just don't understand what's going on. You guys know what's going on. You fucking liars. You can see the same stories that Jack and I read. And most of you are from New York anyway, so you probably are reading this before we see it, about how this guy is actually not just soft on crime, but ridiculously soft on crime. And then he has the bitch ass to get up there and pretend that he's just, we got to do this because we stop crime in New York. Go fuck yourself. This is political. We know it is. Sorry, little side rant there. Okay, Jack, I want to talk about this one just because it's funny as fuck. Look, I don't care what you think about Elon Musk. The guy's funny.
I think he's pretty funny.
I think he's funny as shit, but
I kind of want to play D&D with him.
So recently, he marked a couple of things as state-sponsored broadcasting, and they got mad at it. NPR, the BBC, and the Canadian Broadcasting Company. Well, the Canadian Broadcasting Company didn't like it, and Elon says, Canadian Broadcasting Corp said they're less than 70% government funded, so we corrected the label. And if you look at the label, it says 69% government funded media.
Yeah, it's funny as shit.
That's hilarious. That's fucking amazing.
And I don't believe them for a second that they're less than 70% funded.
I'm not in favor of any media being government funded. None of it should be government funded. And they have no problem marking Russian TV as that. But hey, the Russians are actually controlled by the Russian government. We don't control the stuff we give money to. Court, no.
Yeah, that's why NPR is always siding with the people that keep giving them money, the Democrats.
Hate Camel says, haha, that's the sex number. Yeah, that's the other joke in there. They could have went with 60, 61, 62, 68. Yeah.
It's funnier this way.
Elon likes to make jokes about the number 69 and the number 420.
Yeah.
He loves making jokes about that shit. And people always miss him. The 420, one of the things that he's in trouble with the SEC for was a joke with the number 420 in it.
Mm-hmm.
But people thought that was real. Maybe some.
Yeah, some dum-dums.
And didn't that one have 69 and 420 in that post?
Probably.
Yeah, so it's like, come on, guys.
The government employees have no sense of humor.
Well, I don't know how much they have. Well, I get you no sense of humor, but I think they might have even laughed at some of this stuff. But when they get their eyes on somebody, it doesn't matter if they know it's a joke or not.
Yeah.
It just doesn't matter to them. Now, Brian Krasenstein had an issue. Because of course they did. His Twitter bid was a 420 joke. That's what it was. Thank you. I know it was one of those. All right. As funny as that was, the funniest story I saw today, Jack. Look, again, I don't care what you think about Ron DeSantis. The guy is funny. DeSantis floats building a prison on land next to Disney World.
I'm fine with this.
That's funny. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on Monday said that the state might consider building a prison or potentially another amusement park next to land owned by Disney amid his administration's ongoing feud with the entertainment giant. The governor's clash with Disney. I put a fucking prison there. I'm all right. Yeah, you know what? You can probably take several of the employees from Disney World and move them right in.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be a quicker trip when they get busted being pedos.
The governor's clash with Disney started when the company came out against his education plan that limits the instruction of gender identity. No.
Yeah, way to dress that up.
It started when they went back on, not saying anything and gave in to political pressure about that shit and said it. Plans that limit instruction of gender identity and sexuality in public schools so that you cannot teach third graders about being gay and what you did with your gay husband on the weekend. I filled in the blanks there.
Yeah. No, if he does this, I hope that he makes the uniforms look exactly like the Beagle Boys. Outfits, because they have like the crime numbers or their inmate numbers. Do it just like that and call it the Reedy Creek Correctional Institute. And the entrance should look like Scrooge McDuck's vault.
Yes, that would be awesome. I don't know if he's actually even gonna do this, but in response, DeSantis signed a bill that dissolved the private government that oversaw Walt Disney World in the state. But outgoing Disney-friendly members of the board that oversaw the district approved an agreement with the company that gave it development authority over its theme park. New board members, handpicked by DeSantis, said that the agreement stripped them of their ability to oversee the park's development. And that's really what happened. And you know what? This was part of the problem in the first place. If you're going to take away their power to govern themselves, why the hell was that board left in place?
Yeah.
Now DeSantis, who is weighing a 2024 presidential campaign, can y'all say DeSantis without saying that, please?
No.
Is publicly floating how to respond. If you look at this whole special district, Walt Disney Corporation obviously owns a lot of it, but the district owns other land, he said at the press conference. Now people are like, what should we do with this land? People have said, maybe create a state park, maybe try to do more amusement parks. Someone even said maybe you need another state prison. Who knows? What a little troll.
Yeah.
What a little troll.
Now, if Disney loses the copyright on Mickey Mouse from Steamboat Willie, they should call it Steamboat Correctional and use the Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse on the side that faces Disney.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Right?
I just think that the possibilities are endless. So that is now going to be analyzed to see what would make the most sense. And that wasn't necessarily even on the radar. Yeah, he's telling, look, we weren't even going to fuck with you. And you started this fight. Disney started this fight.
Absolutely, they did. And if you're going to go after somebody, don't pick somebody that's incredibly popular in the state. Because he's got a lot of influence. And Disney fucked up big time. And they still won't admit they made a mistake.
No, and they've actually, for a while, they quieted down. And now they're getting loud about it again. Because they're feeling the... look, Disney's probably one of those companies that can go as woke as it wants, and you're going to have a woke audience come to watch. Because a lot of the people who support Disney these days are adults who think they're still children. And have you seen those princess women? They actually act out like they think they're a Disney princess. Some of them are dudes, just for the record.
Hold on, let me be shocked.
It's not as much as they think, though, because Disney's always been about the family experience. That's where you make most of your money, is the kids wanting to go there.
Yeah.
And so it's going to take a little longer for that to hit them than, say, like Bud Light getting hit in the pocketbook. And they're making a mistake. What they should have done is said, you know what? We shouldn't have gotten involved in politics. That's our bad. We're going to go back to just making it fun, entertainment experience for our audience. That's it. That's what we're going to do.
Oh, they have too many zealots there for that.
True story. None of this stuff is coming from just one person. It's an infestation.
Yeah.
It's a woke infestation. But that's all depressing and stuff. So let's look at something happy. Look at that.
Well,
it's little kittens.
Aw. I, for one, welcome the Disney to prison pipeline.
Oh, you know, I do too. They might as well put a courthouse right next to it so they can just draw a line.
Yep.
Yes, Evil One, this is your kitties. These are his kitty cats. How many do I count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kittens with the mama kitten there. That albino one is trying to hide right there.
Yeah, I think he fell down.
I love their little tails, how they stick up when they're babies.
Yeah.
They can't control them at all, and it's just everywhere. I
can't balance.
I want that kitten right on top.
Oh.
I love the tabby stripes on it. Looks like it's going to look like Mama.
But probably.
All of the other ones, you have the tabby stripes, but they're darker. You got the orange and then the white one there. But I want that kitten. Lady Monkey won't let me have kittens, though.
Not with that attitude. Ask for forgiveness, remember?
Oh yeah. Easier to get forgiveness than permission. That is true.
That's what they tell me. He says he's got 6 kittens and still have one munchkin cat to drop hers. So there's gonna be more kittens.
Nuts wants the white one. That would be cool.
Wow, that was incredibly racist.
Yeah, you can get us in trouble. They're gonna say, look, Monkey's audience, they just want the white ones.
Apparently, I for one welcome all kittens of color.
I love I love tabby stripes and how different they get and how I just really do. Anyhow.
Real quick. Thank you, Pumpkin Trucker. In related news, Disney has entered into a contract to serve exclusively Bud Light in Florida.
I really like this post from my friend Mike Harlow, who I want to have on the show, and we tried to work it out, but then I didn't realize the whole spring break thing was happening, so that fell apart. Still trying to get a hold of him to get him on the show here. But he posted this. I wonder what would happen if I decided to say I'm trans now and support all the things. Would companies throw money at me? I kind of want to find out. I mean, if this guy can do it, I don't think I'd look manly enough to pull it off, though. This is Dylan. That's Dylan Mulvaney.
No, that's not Dylan. That's somebody else that looks like Dylan. They did a video together.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is Dylan Mulvaney's trans friend. Mike, you could do it. I got faith in you.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring it up, Jack, is that so many times I know there's ways to make money. I know there's ways to make money just by saying what I know people want to hear. And I could do it. And it's tempting. It's so tempting. If I made a video tomorrow that came out and said why I left the conservative right and just did all of the lefty talking points, it would blow up. It would be my biggest video ever. And I am much better at speaking and communicating thoughts than somebody say like Bausch.
Well, yeah. I mean, low precedent there.
I'm not, you say that, but look at his audience size. That's what I'm looking more at, the audience size than how well they actually speak.
Oh, I know. You could probably be leading the left by the end of the week.
You should, but just be trolling them. Well, here's the problem. Unless I do it where it's an obvious joke where my audience gets it, then you just destroy your own credibility. And that's why I can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
As much as a money whore as I am, Jack, I can't do that.
Because it's a long-term hit then.
Yeah. I would have to make a shit ton of money in the short term. A shit ton.
It's like any good cult. The money is, the real money is in the quick money at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then you got to cash out.
So I understand what Mike is saying there. Like, oof, that's tempting. I wonder if I could get that money. I get you, man. I struggle with that daily. Lizzo's declared that she's the beauty standard. I'm not sure the beauty standard of what.
Chubberlocks? What?
Jack, you and I disagree on the ideal body for a woman. You like a thinner woman. I like a curvier woman.
Yeah, I like attractive ones. You all like fatties.
Yeah, you like the 1945 German Jew, where I like somebody who's had a meal this week.
I'm going to go more with the 1940s FDR internment camp, because it was full of Japanese chicks.
Either way, I think we can both look at Lizzo and go, nah, bro.
Yeah, not a chance.
No.
Hefty,
have we looked at
hefty.
Lizzo? She looks like the fucking Kool-Aid man.
She does. She's on that episode of Mandalorian a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And even made up with like all the moo-moos they could afford. She still looked like an enormous moo cow. I'm sorry. If you look like that, fix your eating habits. Within a little while, you're going to drop some of that weight at least.
For those who don't know who we're talking about, I'll bring pictures of Lizzo up on the screen here. This is who's saying that she is the beauty standard. Being that big doesn't make her a bad person, but you are not the beauty standard, sweetheart. You're not even close to it. You're certainly not the health standard. I can literally hear the BMI crying right now. Look right here. It's just her with a little bit of fur stuff on. She looks like a couch. You shouldn't be big enough to do that. That bitch looks like she could fit a family of 3.
Yeah, in her belly.
In my belly. Thank you, Frank. Steal Hassan's audience. They throw millions, then slowly convert them. Yeah, but you got to pull off that bullshit at the beginning. That's where I'd have a lot of trouble. I could do it. I would just feel dirty as fuck.
Well, the money will help comfort you.
I guess. I don't know. Mom just put too many morals in me. I blame Mom for this shit. Well, yeah, and she may actually be a pretty woman, but you can't tell because there's 4 faces there. My daughter and I once were talking, and she says, "You know how people say she's fat, but she has a pretty face?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "That's not true." I was like, "What?" I'm like, "No, some fat girls have pretty faces." She goes, "Nuh-uh. If you're saying that, you're just trying to pretend that they're not fat," or something to that. She's listening, so she'll probably like, "That's not what I said," but something to that effect.
Oh, she's right.
She is right. But there are some fat girls who have a pretty face. It's a cute face that if it was on a different body, you'd be like, "Damn." Lizzo's not one of them. She's ugly.
She is an unfortunate looking person. I believe you once said that.
She looks like a garbage pail kid.
She does. I wasn't going to say anything, but you're not wrong.
I am the beauty stand. No, you're not. No, you're not. I get it. You're trying to have that whole self-confidence thing, but no.
Maybe on like Wally.
The final one I want to address here, Jack, and this one's just going to be really... Oh, go ahead.
Real quick. Thank you, FDR. I grant you access to the internment camps. Thank you, FDR. I shall interrogate the prisoners with love.
This is from Luke Zaleski. This guy is a retard. I am fairly certain he has handlers. And by handlers, I mean doctors and nurses who watch over him so he doesn't get in too much trouble.
Yeah, retard wranglers.
He said this, Twitter's Elon world. He paid $44 billion to dominate your attention and determine what you see. First of all, Elon had a huge following before he bought before he bought Twitter.
Yeah.
He's literally in trouble with the SEC because he had so much power that anything he said would lead to stocks moving. But anyway, he knows he can manipulate his personal platform to be in a position powerful enough to crown kings, pick presidents, and help produce whatever personal or political outcome he wants. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Okay. What about Twitter before Elon? What about Twitter before Elon? Were they all doing the same thing?
No, they were protecting people, Monkey, from bad thoughts.
They literally silenced voices they didn't like.
No, they were protecting you from impurities.
They were keeping people from talking about, oh my God, you have the wrong opinion. I'm not going to even say what the subjects are, Jack, because we're trying to be careful here these days.
Sadly.
But several subjects where we couldn't say things that are now just commonplace. But at the time, no, that's a conspiracy theory.
Or right-wing talking point.
It's a right-wing talking point that's going to lead to violence.
Oh, how dare you incite violence against marginalized people?
Elon, yeah, his audience, I guess is the word I'm looking for here, grew a little bit from buying Twitter, but he already had a big one. He already saw what Luke is describing there is what was already happening on Twitter. And if you want to see how bad this nonsense is that they're attacking Elon now, seriously pay attention to this. There's a ton of people out there like, do you realize how much the Saudis gave him for Twitter? If you go back just a little bit to when Elon first suggested buying Twitter, do you know who it is that stepped in and said, no, we're not going to let him do this, and had enough share in Twitter to stop it?
One of the Saudi princes, wasn't it?
Yep. I don't even think it was a Saudi prince. It was a Saudi who had a shit ton of money into Twitter and sat on their board. That never comes up in these. Oh my God, he's got the Saudis working with him. Saudis were already involved. What the fuck are you talking about? And why suddenly you went from them being your saving grace and stopping the sale because this was not hidden who it was, them being your saving grace, to them being the devil. How does that happen?
Same way with the death of that Khashoggi guy.
Oh yeah, Khashoggi.
Yeah. They like the Saudis because the Saudis don't really like the Jews too much. But then they kill journalists. Suddenly they're the bad guys. Oh, we need oil? Oh, we better suck up to the Saudis instead of drilling here.
And they act like that killing of Khashoggi was like the worst thing that's ever been done, ever.
Yeah.
Fair enough, I guess.
No, that guy that got poisoned with the plutonium and took 83 days to die, I would say that was worse.
Nah, bro, it was this guy was a journalist, Jack, that nobody'd ever heard of before.
Yeah, and he had ties to some sketchy groups, and sure, he was kind of an asshole, but journalism.
Yeah, because he was a journalist that literally none of these people ever talked about before he died. Like, oh my God, the Saudis are shitbags. They have been for a long time.
Yeah.
But it only becomes an issue, and it's what Faithless just said there. The narrative changes based on the goal. Yeah. How bad do the Saudis have to be until you hate them? We went on bended knee to beg them to do more oil production because, Biden fucked everything up.
Uh-huh.
And they went, nah. They said no. And nobody's giving them a bunch of shit for that, but yeah, they killed some rando journalist that nobody had ever heard of before. And they're like, oh my God, the Saudis. Fuck. How many of the 9/11 hijackers were Saudi?
17 out of the 19.
A ton of them.
Yeah.
And you're not even allowed to make any distinctions based on that. And nope, it's just Al Qaeda. But it's not like these are good people. They've been shitbags forever. They just recently, within the last decade, let women drive over there.
Well, that was a mistake. Oh, hey, real quick. Thank you, Garbage Pail Kids. We reject Lizzo. Sorry you normies can have her. Yeah, I guess. Look, there's failed Garbage Pail Kids, I'm sure.
I didn't say she was a Garbage Pail Kid. I just said she looked like your artwork.
She does.
Monkey, they were just some people who did some things. That's true. That's what Ilhan Omar told us. All right, Jack, that's all I brought for this evening.
Oh, amateur hour, eh?
Motherfucker.
No, I got a ton of shit here. First of all, it's time to remind everybody that we are brought to you by you. Hit the like button. Share it on your social media because that helps us a lot, especially while we're live. Ring that bell for notifications so at some point you'll get notified that we did a show. And if you're feeling generous, toss us a couple bucks at the Streamlabs links going through your chat, pinned at the top of the chat and in the description, where you can also find our Patreons and our Teespring stores because it's tax time and we're poor.
Indeed. And much poorer because it's tax time.
Oh my God, yes.
Fucking government.
Yeah. Whoa, this was a rough one. Can we do the first video link?
Yeah. Hopefully, look, I don't know how it will turn out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
But we'll do as best we can. It might be choppy-ish.
You're choppy.
Well, sometimes. Hiya! Do you remember Hong Kong Phooey?
Yeah.
Are you even allowed to talk about that? Or is that too...
Probably not.
All right. I didn't read. Is this the bottle?
No.
Okay. Did you see that?
I don't remember. I watched a lot of video today.
There was a police officer somewhere, and there's video of somebody busting a bottle over their head.
Oh. It might be later on in this uncut video, but it's not in this clip. So we just got some cops kind of wasted taxpayer money. Do. Smack! Yep.
This is the bottle one.
Yeah. You touched my weave! And she took off. That's bravery right there.
I thought that haircut looked familiar when I saw it. But yeah, this dude randomly just hits a cop over the head with a bottle.
In broad daylight. And then she runs and leaves her partner to get attacked by a gang.
Looked like a plastic bottle. I'm pretty sure it's a glass one if you see the other angles of it.
I have a theory that she thought a white woman was touching her hair. So she was trying to escape because that's like kryptonite for black women.
Yeah, you don't do that. And whoever is doing that, please stop touching people's hair.
It's weird. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's actually pretty fucked up.
It's super fucked up. The fact that criminals are that comfortable that they could do that in the middle of the day out in the open like that tells you a lot about what's going on in New York.
You got two cops standing. It's not even like she was alone. Her partner's clearly right there with her. And this motherfucker like, I'm going to hit this bitch with a bottle. I from what I've heard, she's okay. But yeah,
well, she's got that hair helmet on.
Look.
It's like +2 armor class.
When you see somebody bust a bottle over somebody's head in a movie, that bottle has been made very, very thin so it'll break. Actually breaking a bottle over somebody's head can kill them.
Yeah.
So
thankfully, the Indian woman's hair that she's wearing protected her.
Faithless says, want to bet he won't be charged. Of course he's not going to be charged.
Well, even if they charge him, they'll release him with no bail.
Yeah, even if he had a gun on him in that case, because they don't prosecute that anymore as anything more than a misdemeanor.
Yeah, so that's a bit worrying.
Brad Young says candy glass, isn't it? Yeah, and it's made specifically so like shards don't go everywhere. And yeah, breaking a bottle over somebody's head is a lot harder than it looks in a movie.
It really is.
Don't try it at home, kids.
Oh, thank you again, FDR. I'm sorry you have to put up with George Takei in the camps. It's all right, I'm not going to talk to any of the dudes.
All right. You want to watch the second video now?
Oh, no.
Okay.
We'll do that later on, because that's one of the palate cleanser types. We got some more important, scary shit that I thought you'd want to know about first. Okay, let me share my screen. I'm not going to be able to check my Streamlabs until in between the articles, guys. So if you do donate, just be aware of that. So feel free to give me lots of money. Okay, here we go.
Real quick, Danger says, thank God he didn't misfile paperwork, right?
Yeah.
Then they would have brought in a SWAT team.
Yeah, if he had picked up a hoe. Secret Chinese police station in New York City leads to arrests.
Wait, I thought they said we didn't have any of those in the U.S.
We don't, but they raided one.
But
yeah, just roll with it.
All right.
This is from the Baltimore Sun. Not a right-wing rag by any stretch. A 6-story glass facade building, second from left. The picture didn't load. Is believed to be the site of a foreign police outpost for China in New York's Chinatown, Monday, April 17th, 2023. Justice Department officials say 2 men have been arrested. Well, let's look. 2 arrests were made Monday on charges they helped establish a secret police station in New York City on behalf of the Chinese government. And about 3 dozen officers of the Chinese National Police Force were charged with using social media to harass dissidents inside the United States, authorities said Monday. The case was part of a series of Justice Department prosecutions in recent years aimed at disrupting Chinese government efforts to locate in America pro-democracy advocates and others who are openly critical of Beijing's policies and to suppress their speech.
Yeah, if we could stop here for just a moment. We've seen these across the world. We know of like 3 that were in Canada.
Yeah.
They're not out there arresting Canadians. Well, kind of. They are arresting and fucking with people who have left China and are saying bad things about China.
Apparently, some of their activity here was aimed at American citizens.
Really? Well, again, is it American citizens or American citizens who used to be Chinese citizens?
Well, it's probably nationalized people or spouses.
Because that's what they had been doing. The fact that they have these anywhere is disturbing as shit.
The fact they were allowed to operate for so long out in the open like that, because we read that article months ago.
Yeah.
One of 3 cases announced Monday concerns a local branch of the Chinese Ministry of Public Security that had operated inside an office building in Manhattan's Chinatown neighborhood before closing last fall amid an FBI investigation. The 2 men who were arrested were acting under the direction and control of a Chinese government official and deleted communication with that official from their phones after learning of the FBI's probe in an effort to obstruct the inquiry, according to the Justice Department. Though China is believed to be operating secretive police outposts in countries around the globe, Justice Department officials said these arrests were the first of their kind anywhere in the world. These seem to operate a lot like terror cells.
Yeah.
And they should be treated exactly the same way.
There should be no police station from another country in our country. Fuck off.
Absolutely not. This is a blatant violation of our national sovereignty. Michael Driscoll.
We're piss poor on crime on our own. We don't need you guys doing it too.
Yeah, we don't need your help. Thank you. And we can abuse our people just fine.
That's
right. It's a blatant violation of our national sovereignty. Michael Driscoll, head of the New York's FBI field office, said at a news conference announcing the cases. The men identified as Harry Liu Zhenwan, 61 of the Bronx, and Chen Jingping, 59 of Manhattan, both U.S. citizens, were arrested at their homes on Monday morning. A lawyer for Liu declined to comment. An email message was sent and left for a lawyer. At no point did the men register with the Justice Department as agents of a foreign government, U.S. law enforcement officials said. And though the secret police station did perform some basic services, such as helping Chinese citizens renew their Chinese driver's license, it also served a more, quote, sinister function.
That's not a police station's job. That's an embassy's job.
Shush.
All right.
I like how they put sinister in quote marks to scare people. Including helping the Chinese government locate a pro-democracy activist of Chinese descent living in California.
I wonder if they asked Swalwell how to find him.
I bet he helped. New York City is the home to New York's finest, the NYPD. Yeah, suck off the NYPD some more. Said U.S. Attorney Breon Peace. That sounds like a fake name. The top federal prosecutor in Brooklyn, whose office brought the cases. We don't need or want a secret police station in our great city. You already have one. It's called the FBI. Justice Department officials in recent years have prioritized prosecutions of what's known as transnational repression, in which foreign governments work to identify, intimidate, and silence dissidents in the U.S.
You mean by like hitting up Facebook and Twitter and going, hey, we think these people are spreading misinformation?
Yes. Just like the FBI. We already have an FBI, China.
Right.
They pretty much do your bitch work anyway. A signature case concerning China was announced in 2020, when the Justice Department charged more than half a dozen people with working on behalf of the Chinese government in a pressure campaign at coercing a New Jersey man wanted by Beijing into returning to China to face charges. In January, the Justice Department charged 3 men in an alleged plot that originated in Iran to kill an Iranian American author and activist who has spoken out against human rights abuses there. In America...
Why would you need to kill that guy? It's not like it's a secret. It's not like anybody's thinking, wow, Iran, it's the best place to go for civil rights and to be protected for having differences in opinion with the government.
National honor?
Maybe, I guess.
He probably defected off their soccer team and they were pissed about it. My favorite part. In America, the law protects all of us equally from persecution, violence, and threats of violence. Yeah. Said David Newman of the Justice Department. Yeah, let's ask Donald Trump about that.
Tell
or
Trump
any
that.
of the
Let's see.
people.
This is disturbing, and like I said, last we heard, none of these were found in the United States,
except for the ones that we knew about in New York and Tampa.
They weren't those just rumored at the time? Because when the story that we read, all the ones we read were close because we have several of them on the Canadian border because, Canadians live right next to the U.S. But last time, I swear we didn't see any in the U.S.
No, there were at least 2 that were known, or not confirmed, but they knew they did stuff like driver's licenses and shit. It was Tampa, New York City, and I want to say there was a third one.
Sean says Justin Dennis thought, and that's Riley Dennis to most people, thought Iran was great because of free sex change operations. That's true. We need to be more like Iran, where they force gay people to become women.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't bring up that forced sex change.
Well, it's not forced if everybody just wants it, and you get coerced through torture.
Notice he went to Australia instead of Iran.
Better lesbians? I don't know.
More civil rights, definitely.
Oh, maybe civil rights, monkey.
Maybe he wasn't ready to learn how to fly yet.
I believe I can fly. All right. Now, I want you to think of it like one of the more disturbing activities that you could do in a school that isn't directly sexual interaction between a teacher and student.
Oh.
Just off the top of your head, what do you think?
Punching a student.
No, it's not directly touching.
Oh.
Not directly touching, but still disturbing.
Pantomiming rape.
Ooh, that's a good guess. Oh, real quick. Thank you, Phoebe. Me so sorry, Mr. Monkey, but I work for the Chinese police. Now to the camps.
She is too liberated to be Chinese. But if you told me that she was like I actually told Lady Monkey yesterday that we should have named her Cleopatra because she is the queen.
Oh, yeah. Is she Greek?
Do we have a story?
Yeah, I was just asking if your cat was Greek.
Oh, no, I sorry, I didn't hear that. It might be. She's the sweetest thing in the world until you defy her.
Yeah, it sounds Greek. Okay, so middle school hosted disturbing licking game with staff and students.
I thought you said not directly touching.
They're not. There's a piece of glass there. See? Not direct contact.
Why?
They're window licking because the Windex is mint flavored. I don't know.
You're right. That this does sound like window lickers. Thank you, Comrade Kitty. Riley, because I'm free falling.
That's just the testosterone levels. This is by Jason Arantz. He's a right-wing commentator with weird eyebrows. A middle school principal is facing discipline for an inappropriate, sexualized, in quotes, licking game between students and staff. Before students left for spring break, Desert Hills Middle School in Kennewick hosted an assembly and fundraiser that featured a competition between students and staff. 2 plexiglass panes were stationed in the middle of the gymnasium, and on each side of the glass had 4 spots for marshmallow cream. Students.
Oh God, no.
Yes.
White cream.
Yes, white cream.
Okay.
Yes, it was semen flavored. I bet. Students and
Very
staff
salty.
Full of zinc. Students and staff then competed to lick it off the plexiglass, often with adult educators and their minor students licking their respective sides of the glass at once. Students in the crowd could be screaming, "Ew, disgusting, that's so gross," and "What the heck?" One student yelled, "Who thought this was a good idea?"
Those students, every one of them, smarter than the teachers involved.
Yes. That last kid probably got a bright future ahead of him. One student recorded a portion of the game. The student's mom posted it on Facebook and shared it with Jason Rant's show on KTTH. She explained that she was baffled that so many adults at the school didn't realize how inappropriate the game was. They did. They just wanted to diddle your kids. There's no excuse for this. Nobody should have thought this was a good idea at all. And what thought process are you having that you're like, hey, let's make it look like we're licking windows against each other in a pseudo-sexual way?
I don't even mind the window licking thing. Why have them face to face? Why not have, them lined up? Everybody's on one side.
Yeah.
And everybody licks whoever's done first. It's still window licking, and we can make all the jokes about them being window lickers because, honestly.
But that's a different one other than it looks like you're trying to do weird Japanese tongue battles with your students.
Yeah. This looks like they want to kiss the students.
Oh, yeah. They want to see what their French game is like.
See what I did there? I did that for you, Nuts. I didn't do my normal tongue sounds for kissing. That was for you, sweetheart. I went instead of.
Oh, I know.
I'm just pointing it out that I did that for her. I didn't go just for her.
Well, that's nice, even though you just did it twice. When I first saw the video, I was mortified, the mom told Jason Rantz. The pure lack of judgment was horrifying by the display of behavior from trusted adults in the room. What got me even more upset was when I saw the principal laughing and then pulling his phone out to videotape or take pictures of the event. He seemed to have thoroughly enjoyed the game instead of protecting our children and stopping the game. Well, it's better than him whipping his dick out and rubbing one off to create some new cream filling.
I mean, yeah, but is it?
I just think that part didn't get filmed.
That's the build up to it.
Yeah, this is the foreplay. This is how the teachers select their new friends, special favorite students. Superintendent Dr. Tracy Pierce sent a letter to families once she'd become aware of the game. Yeah, this is where you get your normal lawyerly response. This activity does not reflect the high standards we hold for our staff members as outlined in district policy. Translation, whoops, somebody filmed it and got caught. The content of a video being...
I'm sorry, I'm watching the video right now. This, for real?
Yeah. I'll drop the link because the video's in the article here.
Actually, I'm going to take the
article off.
I'm going to stop. Yeah, I'm going to remove you for just a little while. And while you talk, we're just going to play the video. So go ahead and keep reading the article, and we'll show the video here.
Yeah, no problem, mystery. The content of a video being shared on social media is highly concerning, and the situation is currently being investigated by the district, where thankfully nothing wrong will be found, because that doesn't look like a giant semen stain at all. Pierce said they received a number of concerns from parents and that we can assure you we are taking appropriate action to address the situation. They're going to bar cell phones. Watch. A second parent tells me that one of the educators seen licking the glass is a vice principal, and that Principal Casey Grant is seen filming the game in the student's video. Yeah, he's right back there sitting down.
Yep.
And look at that chick. That teacher chick is really going to town on that.
She is. I mean, I kind of want to see her in some other videos.
Yeah, I'd like to get to know her a little better.
Oh, dude, no.
So yeah, that's some dude on dude there. On April 14th, the superintendent followed up by saying the activity involving students and staff competing in a race to lick marshmallow cream from plexiglass was not an appropriate activity. She revealed that some students felt very uncomfortable and the activity was highly disturbing for some students, parents, families, and community members to watch on video. She said the district never approved the activity and vowed it will never be repeated in the future, where you can see it or film it. Some parents and community members thought this was potentially an example of left-wing educators grooming young students because of the sexual nature of the game, but the superintendent said that wasn't the case. Yeah, there's obviously nothing sexual here.
You think they would admit that?
These days, 50-50. Well, she is quoted here, while there is no question about the appropriateness of the activity and its negative impact, after thoroughly investigating how and why this particular activity took place, it is clear that the intent of the activity was innocent and not ill-intended, Pierce wrote. There is zero evidence to suggest or support that this was in any way grooming activity on the part of organizers or participants. You're telling me anybody in this audience watched that video and didn't think this was sexualized in some way? Or could be perceived that way?
Let me just play devil's advocate here for a second. If this wasn't the grooming thing, and I'm taking you at your word on that, that means you are so fucking stupid. You shouldn't even be allowed around children.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand what it even looks like. All right. Sorry.
No problem.
And faithless, yes. Then only have kids versus kids. Yes. Why bring the adults into it? Kids versus kids would have been gross enough. A little inappropriate, but why have the adults there? And that last guy we saw at the far left of the plexiglass and his little slow pussy licking lick, that's fucking gross.
Yeah. Well, that just reinforces that this is some sort of pseudo-sexual innuendo by the teachers.
I've licked vagina before. I know what it looks like.
Pierce wrote, there is zero evidence to suggest or support this was in any way grooming activity. That being said, the fact that the activity was planned, occurred, and not stopped shows a lack of sound discernment and good judgment, and the activity is not aligned with district expectations.
It had to get approved before they did it.
Yeah, the principal's sitting there filming it. He obviously had no issue with it. Principal Grant offered a statement in a letter to the parents where he apologized. On behalf of Desert Hills Middle School, I would like to apologize for the activity that took place during our recent assembly. As building principal, I take ownership for the events that occur in my school, and I recognize the impact that this situation has had on our school community. I am committed to the safety of our students and staff and will ensure that all future activities meet the highest professional standards and adhere to district policy. Again, I apologize that this incident occurred and for the negativity brought to the Desert Hills community. This is a fucking middle school.
Again, I mean, if you wanted to do this, you don't have people facing off against each other. You one side and then the other. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Thank you, bus driver. Points at sign. They just want to diddle the kids. Yeah.
Right.
This looked incredibly sexualized. And anybody that didn't think it looked that way, you should probably get your vision checked.
Anybody who didn't think that looked sexualized should not be around children. Because I don't trust you with what you think is sexualized.
Right? Next week, sucking the chrome off a trailer hitch to raise money for the mermaids charity. Right?
Yes.
Good one, Furry. Yeah, I just don't understand. We saw that one chick teacher with the nice ass licking that cream off like she was fucking cleaning off her stepsister's belly.
Oh, dude, that chick, I want to see her in an OnlyFans, for honest.
Oh my God, yeah.
She got some skills.
Yeah, that girl has some talent I would like to experience. But
the one before her, I don't know if you were paying attention to the video as you were reading. She puts her tongue on there and it's this slow, long lick all the way up. I'm like, come on.
right? And there's a middle schooler on the other side of that, which means 6th to 9th grade.
6 to 9, huh?
Yeah.
With the licking, that's a weird number.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. Kind of odd how that happens. So, yeah, I thought that was an important story to bring to the table. Got a couple of them that are a bit borderline like that are a little bit like, well, that's some boundaries that we might get in trouble for.
I just feel like in that situation, there's no adult who should not have known why that was bad. And not a single adult stood up and went, I don't think we should do this. Not a single adult went, hey, we should not have adults licking the other side of plastic from children who are licking plastic.
Yeah. Well, this next one is sort of related in an indirect but concerning way that maybe in some way connected. I don't fucking know. We're just gonna glance at this one. So Oregon pushes bill to let minors of any age have abortion without parental awareness or consent.
Oh, yeah, it sounds right.
So the Oregon state legislature introduced a bill in March that would allow minors to have abortion without parental knowledge. An attorney for the legislative office, Lori Ann Sills, claimed in an April 13th Ways and Means Committee hearing that under the current law, it is not entirely clear at what age a minor can make the determination to have an abortion without parental consent.
Wait, I thought, these medical decisions were supposed to be between their parents and the kid.
No, the state is your parent.
That's only getting your balls cut off.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
She said under HB 2002A, however, a minor of any age can make that determination. When asked by State Senator Tim Knopp, so a 10-year-old can make that decision on their own, she responded with a yes.
Wow.
There's some videos here. I'll let you guys read it because it's a little bit long, and you get the general gist. I just wanted people to be aware of what's going on in Oregon, because it's bad enough you could graduate in Oregon and Washington without being able to read and write, but now they want your kids to be able to vacuum out the babies without parental knowledge.
Faithless said, and just like that, the rest of Oregon counties all joined Idaho. There is a push for several Oregon counties to join Idaho.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't blame them.
Me neither.
You want to talk about Walmart real quick?
Oh, yeah.
You like Walmart.
I enjoy talking about Walmart. It's one of the few subjects I have a lot of knowledge on, Jack.
Yeah, I enjoy their low prices. How Walmart pushed Arkansas public schools to go woke. In January 2020, Walmart approached the public school administrators in Bentonville, Arkansas, about hosting diversity training sessions for the district. We want people to feel welcomed, comfortable, and safe living here in Northwest Arkansas. Candace Jones, Walmart's head of diversity, emailed district leaders, according to documents obtained by the Washington Free Beacon. To that end, the company was offering to arrange teacher training sessions with a North Carolina-based consultancy known as the Racial Equity Institute, a group devoted to creating racially equitable organizations and systems. This would be great for teacher development and a great way to connect with the community, Jones said. By August, teachers were learning that perfectionism is white supremacy and that all our systems, institutions, and outcomes emanate from the racial hierarchy on which the United States was built. Bentonville, the site of Walmart's corporate office headquarters, wasn't alone. In nearby Fayetteville, the district's public schools embarked on a 5-year equity plan funded and designed by Walmart-funded groups, including the DEI Research Institute at the University of Arkansas. School leaders attended trainings on the 6 tenets of critical race theory, learned that systemic inequity equals trauma, were drilled on the harmful effects of microaggressions, and sat through PowerPoints on intersectionality. The district also implemented a restorative justice program designed to combat the allegedly disproportionate discipline of black students that discouraged teachers from breaking up fights and instructed them to sit on the floor with students to dispel any sense of hierarchy. You mean like you're the teacher and they should listen to you kind of thing?
Right.
This
actually, that is part of some of this nonsense where like, you need to let the students have more of a say in the classroom.
Well, they have an inherent understanding, Monkey, that adults just don't have.
Judging by that last article, or well, the cream article, that might be true.
At least that's in just schools. Because we hire retards for teachers now.
Yeah, they're smarter than the teachers is all I'm getting at. Not smarter than adults, but smarter than the teachers.
That's pretty much the gist of this one. There's some additional information. I'll drop the link, of course.
Walmart's been headed this way since I worked there, and I haven't worked there in 7 or 8 years now. But this all started with environmentalism.
Oh yeah,
and then they get into the hey, don't sexually harass people and all of that crap. And yeah, they've just slowly been doing this, and I can't blame Walmart so much because when you're going to hire people who have a business degree, well, this is what's being churned out.
Yeah.
Jack, I want to stop here and play a video that's kind of related to this. Go ahead, but I just wanted to let you know I wanted to do that real fast.
Yeah.
I don't think that what we're seeing is even coming from Walmart. It's just what's expected these days.
Yeah, sadly, this has become mainstream normal stuff.
Now, I wanted to play this video because this is 3 black men talking about the influence of people like Kendi.
Oh God.
And these are, I don't know if you know who any of these guys are. They are not lefties.
Dude on the right I've seen on TV. I don't know who the other 2 guys are.
Yeah, the guy on the right's even been on like Bill Maher. I think we watched a clip with him on Bill Maher before.
Probably.
But all right.
I think this is interesting. What does Kendi think? But I don't think it's the deepest issue. I think the deepest issue is what do the people think who make Kendi Kendi, who buy his books, who fund his program, who invite him to speak, who lionize him, who repeat his words as if they were from the Bible. What are those people thinking? I mean, I
feel like using the word thinking right there is a little generous.
Yeah, that's, well, for them, it's a type of thinking.
That black people on the whole, when they have a chance to vote for the exact thing that we're saying is bad for them.
What he means by what we're saying is bad for them is these guys are anti-woke. That's what I was getting at it before, Jack. These are not lefties.
Yeah, smart men. Yeah.
Yeah, they look at the stuff that Kendi puts out and they're like, that's fucking retarded. But what he's getting at, hey, why is this still why are black people still voting for this shit? We'll get to that in a minute.
They vote for representatives who are way on the left. They vote for people who do exactly what Al Sharpton wants them to do. And they have a free will to vote for whoever they want to. So how wise are we to sit on our high horses and tell people what they should be thinking when they have a chance to express themselves, they go in the opposite direction from what we recommend?
All right, I'm not going to watch the rest of the video because there's like another minute of it, but I wanted to bring this up because it's not really fair to sit there and say, hey, black people, they have a choice. They do have a choice, but what are they hearing? How much have you seen these 3 men on television? How many of you can even tell me what these 3 men's names are? How many of you guys have heard the name Kendi repeated in press, from politicians, from academics? People like these 3, they don't get heard far and wide. Their opinions on this stuff, it's not really fair to sit there and go, well, you know, black people they've heard what we say and they still go with Kent. That's just not true. And this is what, you know, you're talking about Walmart bringing in this diversity shit. You think they brought those 3 guys up in diversity training? I bet you Kendi's name came up.
What?
I bet you Robin DiAngelo's name came up.
What?
You can lead a jackass to water, but you cannot make him drink. Well, in this case, I mean, they're not even being led to water. They're being said, hey, the only watering hole is this one right here. It's the Kendi watering hole. That's it. It's the Al Sharpton. It's the Jesse Jack. These are the black men who get put out there. Conservative blacks. Look what they're doing to Thomas right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're going after this man. At worst, he misfiled some. That's a little familiar. At worst, some misfiling of paperwork that when it gets fixed, which happens a lot, they don't like to point that part out.
Hey, fact.
Amending your financials is done a lot. And unlike with Congress, it's not actually a crime there with the Supreme Court. But what's the problem there? Black conservative.
Yeah. They've done this with tons of black conservatives. Larry Elder, Ben Carson.
They called Larry Elder a white supremacist, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
So it's just not fair to sit there and go, well, black people, they're given this, and maybe we're sitting on our high horses and are wrong for telling them that this stupid shit is wrong. It's not a fair thing to even compare. You want a good comparison? Go look at some of these reaction channels that have started moving into politics and watch videos about, the true story of what happened with slavery. Watch the true story of what went on with the civil rights movement and who all has been against them since the country began. That's where you see black people go, holy, really? Yeah. It's the Democrats have been doing this to you all along.
It was the Democrats the whole time.
Faithless, yes. If you ever watch black people on YouTube watching Thomas Sowell for the first time, it is fucking amazing. They're all like, really? Like, yeah, really. So anyway, I just wanted to play that video because it does tie into this diversity nonsense. The only thing that's being pushed is diversity. Why?
I think you know why.
That's because it's what's being taught in our colleges.
Yeah. Real quick, thank you, Black People United. You gave us free shit in the 60s. Now dad out for cigarettes and never comes back. Well, yeah, I mean, I blame Lyndon Johnson for that.
Dangerous says the people against racism have racial slurs for guys like those three men. Yes, they do. Yes, they do, which they love to use.
Oh, irony. All right. Could we play the second video now?
Absolutely. Well, I say absolutely. I'm willing to. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm more asking the internet provider.
Please let us. All right.
Capital, money, reparations. That will stimulate this economy for the 2.6 million blacks in California. There's only one thing that would stop our children from busting into these liquor stores. There's only one thing that would stop our kids from busting into these jewelry stores, stealing watches and jewelry. And that's reparation capital.
All right. I hear you. But I grew up in the 80s and I don't remember a whole lot of what you're describing there happening then.
That's because we used to put criminals in jail instead of just like giving them little head pats.
Thank you, Keldrig. It's amazing how when a lefty does the most heinous shit, it disappears. But when a conservative accidentally misspells a name, it's bloody murder. That's true.
Yeah.
This stuff has been going on for a very limited time. And that's just because we've started telling kids it's okay to do this shit. And it gets worse and worse every time you guys make fucking excuses for it.
Yeah. And they're shocked if there is any consequence. Because this is normalized.
Oh, that was the end of the video. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need reparations for this shit. What you need is we need to raise our children better, honestly.
Yeah. Need a family unit. Maybe marry before you carry.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Give us money or we'll keep robbing you is what I heard. Yeah, basically. Hey, Kimmel.
Yeah. It's not extortion if it's reparations.
It's, you know what? It is literally the old mob tactic. It'd be a damn shame if something happened to your nice jewelry store here.
Yeah. Well, Detroit's talking about doing reparations now too. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That one is apparently a pretty goofy thing. We'll have to talk about that some other time.
Detroit doesn't have the money to do it.
Detroit is broke.
Anyway,
let's get federal money. Okay, let's jump over to San Francisco Gate, SF Gate.
All right.
17 men arrested in California Sikh community shootings.
Oh.
Yeah, the Sikhs are getting in on it. Authorities in Northern California on Monday said they'd arrested more than a dozen men from two warring criminal syndicates whose violent rivalry they said was responsible for a mass shooting at a Sikh temple and a brutal sword attack at a parade in 2018. Sutter County District Attorney Jennifer Dupree said the two syndicates were responsible for multiple shootings where 11 people were shot, including 5 people at a Sikh temple in Stockton last year and 2 more victims at a temple in Sacramento last month. None of the victims died, Dupree said. All of the men were arrested are part of California's Sikh community and were members of one of 2 rival gangs whose feud was fueled by personal connections.
I thought the Sikhs were supposed to be like chill.
They normally are, but let's just say we're not importing their best anymore.
Fair.
This started out as one group and one faction broke off, and since then they've been rivals to outdo each other. Mainly they show up places and try and shoot each other. Well, I'm glad to see we Americanized them. And
that they're bad at shooting.
Yeah. Dupree said comparing it to the U.S. Civil War where brothers were fighting against brothers. That's a terrible analogy. Dupree said the arrests are not related to the murders last year of a Sikh family in the San Joaquin Valley, which included the killings of an 8-month-old baby, the baby's parents, and an uncle. I think we covered that story. Dupree said the violence began in 2018 at the annual Sikh parade in Yuba City, one of the largest South Asian festivals held outside the Indian subcontinent. There, Dupree said a man was beaten so hard with a sword that it broke.
Wow.
The violence soon escalated to shootings, including one at a wedding party in 2021.
Is this like the Hatfields and McCoys, for fuck's sake?
Yes.
Because that's actually what it sounds like rather than Civil War.
Yeah, but there's more Slurpee machines involved.
Okay.
The rash of violence attracted the attention of the Yuba Sutter Narcotic and Gang Task Force, which launched an investigation with the assistance of the FBI, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and various other local, state, and federal enforcement agencies. The investigation intensified in March when authorities learned of a potential violence at a Sikh parade in Sacramento. Dupree said police stopped 2 cars before they reached the parade, arresting 7 people and seizing 4 handguns and 2 other guns with large capacity magazines. The shooting still happened at the parade, injuring 2 people, but Dupree said a mass casualty incident was prevented. It could have been a bloodbath.
Theoretically, sure.
Yeah. Altogether, Dupree said police seized 41 guns during the investigation, including a weapon described as a machine gun.
I hear you, but you guys describe a lot of shit as machine guns that aren't.
Yeah. Now, you'll notice a lot of these names, the 17 people, almost all of them end in Singh. Or have Singh in their name somewhere.
Yeah.
So this is like seriously family stuff. Although none of them are named Singham, which is a great fucking movie. Dupree said 5 other people, including some other people's names I'm not even trying to pronounce, have not yet been arrested. Dupree said the men have not had a court appearance yet. It's not clear if they have attorneys who can speak. Then we get into a little bit more. But you get the idea. Sikh rivalry gangs. That's a new thing. They're not going to focus on MS-13 or anything, who are smuggling all the Chinese fentanyl in. But, you know,
Yeah, I mean, somebody needs to stop this shit if they're shooting each other in the street and stuff. But
Yeah.
it seemed like a lot of agencies to be brought in for this when you're right. There's all that fentanyl coming through the border.
Mm-hmm.
I'm convinced the fentanyl coming through the border the U.S. government wants to happen.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
people that are on drugs are dependent.
Yep.
So get people stoned out of the gourd. It worked great in Brave New World.
The Sikhs were to be warriors and defend against Islamic violence, but generally chill. That's what I'm not saying that somebody said that they weren't pacifists. I wasn't calling them pacifists. But yeah, just chill. There's a difference. If somebody fucks with you, even if you are chill, there's a line, Jack.
Yeah, I've known several Sikhs over the years. One of my friends married a Sikh. They're pretty cool people. Very laid back. They love America. The ones that are here anyway, most of them. So pretty reasonable people from my personal experience, for whatever that's worth. So it actually surprised me that they arrested 17.
They didn't say what started it. They just said that there was a beating.
Yeah.
And my brain, I guess, just goes to kind of a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing. No, you don't touch my sister. And then shit just got out of hand.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. It was some sort of argument between intermarried families.
Yeah. And who knows? That's speculation, guys. We're not saying that's absolutely what happened, but
it's always something dumb like that just gets blown way out of hand.
Yeah.
It's not like an Austrian ruler got assassinated by an anarchist or anything. It caused a world war. Yeah.
That's too bad they're not in New York, so then they could go to Sing Sing.
That's what you did there.
Thank you.
Real quick. Next up. Now, speaking of Islam, Minneapolis becomes the first major American city to allow the broadcast of 5 Muslim calls to prayer per day year-round.
Okay.
I guess we're just ceding this to the 7th century barbarians. Minneapolis will allow broadcast of the Muslim call to prayer at all hours, becoming the first major U.S. city to allow the announcement, or adhan, to be heard over the speakers 5 times a day year-round. The Minneapolis City Council unanimously agreed Thursday to amend the city's noise ordinance, which had preserved dawn and late evening calls at certain times of the year due to noise restrictions. The vote came during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. The Constitution doesn't sleep at night, said somebody Hussein, executive director of the Minnesota chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations.
Yeah, but you'd have a hard time making that argument because the Supreme Court has already ruled that you can make noise ordinances.
Yes. Are we going to be allowed to broadcast Jesus prayers now?
I guess.
No, they're not going to do that. Said the action in Minneapolis shows the world that a nation founded on freedom of religion makes good on its promise. I don't trust CARE on anything.
It wasn't founded on the prospect of Muslims yelling in your house all hours of the night, though.
Oh my God, can you imagine living next door to that?
Oh God.
Minneapolis has a flourishing population of East African immigrants since at least the 1990s. You mean like the refugees that won't leave?
Mm-hmm.
And the mosques are now common. 3 of 13 members of the council, Aisha Chugti, Jeremiah Ellison, and Jamal Osman, identify as Muslim.
Identify as?
Yeah, it says identify as. Is that a sexuality now? I don't know.
I think so.
Oh, fair enough. I'm not making a pedo joke because I don't want my head cut off. The decision drew no organized community opposition because probably nobody knew about it.
Right.
Mayor Jacob Frey is expected to sign the measure next week. Minneapolis has become a city for all religions for now. Nobody
objected to it. Wait until it starts happening.
Yeah. No, because they won't say anything under threat of violence, because it's splody. Minneapolis has become a city for all religions as long as you pay your tax. Said Imam Mohammed Dukali of something mosque in Minneapolis, who was among several Muslim leaders who witnessed the vote. 3 years ago, city officials worked with the Dar al-Hijr Mosque to allow the Adhan to be broadcast outdoors 5 times daily during Ramadan. Prayers are said when light appears at dawn, at noon, at mid to late afternoon, and at sunset when the night sky appears. In case nobody noticed, there's the night sky. Like, there it is. It's like the worst rooster on the planet. In Minnesota, dawn arrives early as before 5:30 a.m. in summer, when sunset at the solstice happens after 9 p.m. City allows year-round broadcast last year, but only between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m., typically excluding early morning prayers, sometimes night prayers. So there you go. They're going to let you scream at everybody real loud.
You have Minneapolis. They can do what the fuck they want. It doesn't affect me. If this was my city, and especially if you live next to it, I'd be throwing a fit right now. Just follow the same laws everybody else has to with noise ordinance. They said they had to get around the noise ordinance to do this. You shouldn't be making except where are all the separation of church and state folk?
Oh, we don't do that for that. No, they're Muslims. They're special.
Oh, gotcha. My bad.
And once this starts, it'll spread to other major cities, and you're going to hear this all over the place. And the Muslims in other countries are going to say, well, that makes this a Muslim country, therefore it's ours forever.
Quoting you, Danger says, Mr. Jack, I'm not making a pedo joke. Well, the night is still young, Jack. Just like, and then he says, and I'm going to finish that, Muhammad's brides.
There it is.
Anyhow.
Thank you, Keldrig. You've had your turn. It's my turn with the goat. Yeah. Pretty much. No, I think this is a very dangerous precedent to set. You're favoring one religion over the others because, if churches started broadcasting prayers, there'd be all sorts of people coming out of the woodwork. We'd have TJ Kirk nonstop bitching about it. But because it's the Muslim call to prayer and we're suddenly embracing this, I think this is bad.
I think what they should do is monetize this and get some Beats by Dre to shout it out.
What surprised me, like Faithless said, I don't know why they don't just have an app that does this.
Do you know? Well, they do actually.
No, yeah, but why not just say you could download an app?
Well, because like the women folk aren't allowed to have certain things. And look, when your bride is 6, she might not be able to figure it out.
Yeah, but you could set it like an alarm clock. It could just go off.
Have it on a little Barbie radio for her.
Yeah, it could just go off, just like some of the car bombs. I got
blow up in anyone's face.
Yeah, I got a couple more stories in another video, but I did find that video for you of Dylan with the other guy that looks like Dylan.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen that one before, actually.
Yeah.
Isn't that a couple months old?
No, it's pretty new.
Did they do another one? Because I swear I've seen, as soon as you said it, I'm like, okay, I know what you're talking about. But go ahead. And where's it at?
It's the very last, the fourth link there.
Mm-hmm.
The Ollie London one.
Sorry, guys. I'm producing in the background here. There we go. Yeah, it's this right here. But this is newly brought up. But isn't the video
Day
itself
61 of being
ago?
a girl? Excuse me, that's kind of my thing, but we can do it together.
I don't know. It might be a little older. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the video itself is actually from like maybe February-ish.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, like I said, as soon as you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, well, let's face it, some of the weirdos kind of blur together after a while.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of weirdos, here's a good one. Ex-Planned Parenthood executive commits suicide after botched child porn raid in Connecticut. Planned Parenthood? What?
Planned Parenthood and child porn? No.
I know. I'm shocked too.
All right.
Former Connecticut Planned Parenthood honcho took his own life days after police failed to arrest him on CP charges, botching the raid by knocking down the door of the suspect's New Haven home. Or neighbor. That's the neighbor's raid. Tim Yergo, 36, the former director of strategic communications at the Southern New England branch of Planned Parenthood, died by suicide on Tuesday amid a CP investigation in Connecticut last week.
Did he do the world a favor and jump into a wood chipper?
That would have been fucking amazing. The person who died was definitely the suspect in a child porn investigation, and the person who committed suicide, New Haven Police Chief Carl Jacobson told the New Haven Register. 5 days earlier, members of the Special Victims Unit investigating the CP case reportedly broke down the door of Yergo's neighbor and handcuffed the woman before they realized they raided the wrong apartment.
Well, then why didn't they go to the right apartment and get him?
Incompetence. It probably took them all day to figure it out.
Probably.
They obviously hit the wrong door, Jacobson told the outlet. New Haven's police internal affairs investigators are now looking into how cops botched the raid, according to the article. I don't know how you mistake a woman for this dude.
It is 2023, Jack.
I guess. Unfortunately, a mistake was made. We feel for the woman, and we're going to do everything we can to make it right. That means cash settlement.
Uh-huh.
While Jacobson declined to confirm Yargu was the suspect of the child porn investigation, his neighbor and the state office of the chief medical examiner both confirmed that he died Tuesday morning. The medical examiner also confirmed he died by suicide. After leaving Planned Parenthood, Yargo began working at the Long Wharf Theater in August 2022 as its marketing and communication director, according to the organization's website. At least he didn't do Drag Story Hour.
That we know of.
Yeah. According to Longworth, police reported that since there are 2 open investigations into the matter, they will not release the application for the search warrant or provide information about what was found in Yergo's apartment until they confirm no other suspects were involved. Well, probably the FBI is involved. The state of Connecticut can also decide to withhold the warrant. Yergo's neighbor, Stacy Wensner, told the outlet she relives being handcuffed every time she now walks down the apartment's hallway. What if I had a gun permit? What if I came down the hallway with a gun? Would I have gotten shot? Yes, absolutely you would have.
Depends if you raised it or not, yeah.
Yeah, what if my 4-year-old had woken up? What if they had shot him? You just don't do that to people.
If your 4-year-old had woken up, that guy would have taken videos of it and sent it to his friends.
Yes. The police entered her apartment around 6 a.m. and began systemically moving through the home with their guns drawn. Well, yeah, that's usually how you do a warrant.
We do seem to have an epidemic of police going to the wrong goddamn house.
Yes, you would think they would verify that information. It just seems like it might be relevant.
Yeah, so I'm on this lady's side with them busting into her house and shit, but
yeah, well, if I remember this correctly, it was a no-knock warrant too. They just kicked the door in and went guns blazing.
Right.
So she's lucky she didn't get shot either way. I started running down the hallway. It was just like a movie. They had guns and flashlights on me. They put me against the wall and handcuffed me. I was crying and saying, "What's happening?" And then the music started. Officers repeatedly asked her where the man was located while moving through the rooms of her apartment, according to the article.
And she didn't go, "He's my neighbor"?
She probably had no idea what they were talking about because they probably didn't give a name. They're just like, "Where's he at? Where's he at?" She's like, he went for cigarettes. I don't know who the fuck you talking about.
Yeah.
I was like, "What man? I'm here with my children." They asked, "Who's Tim?" And I said, "That's my neighbor downstairs." They weren't even on the right floor. After officers noticed toys belonging to her 4-year-old son, they reportedly realized they were not in the correct apartment. I don't know. Toys wouldn't dissuade me, especially if he's a pedo.
He's into child porn. He has toys. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, that's evidence, dude. They're bagging all the toys, you know. Officers told her they had been conducting surveillance of her neighbor, who was the focus of their investigation.
Wait.
If you were surveilling him, how did you not know where he lived?
We've been conducting surveillance. Well, they didn't say for how long. It could have been like 30 seconds. But yeah, you should have known which house it was, you dumbass. And this, we've had way too many stories like this.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, she was gonna take a plate of food downstairs to him because her neighbors like leftover Easter food, and she fell asleep instead. So probably good she didn't, because he was probably trying to get close to her kid. But yeah, this is ridiculous. I don't care that this pervert's dead
at all. Not even a little bit.
Did you see his picture? He looks like he's got a really criminal head shape. I mean, look at this dude.
My question is whether or not, because we saw this with the guy from ABC that, Rolling Stone tried to downplay.
Yeah.
Some of that was produced by him.
Yeah.
And my question would be, how much was produced by this guy? And there's obviously somebody else involved unless he made it all himself. And if he made it all himself, chances are he wouldn't have got caught.
Yeah. And where are the victims? How are they connected to him? Who is he giving it to? Who's he exchanging it with, rather?
Yep.
Yeah, there's always a network with these fucking weirdos. If they have it on their computer, they've got a network.
And I'm going to say this, and I'm not saying all people who are for abortion are pedos, but when you can dehumanize a child, do I have to finish that sentence?
No.
So,
yeah, this whole thing's fucked up, man. But hey, the guy's dead, so at least there's one less pedo out there.
Yep. Fuck that guy.
But yeah, we'll have to transition to a topic we sort of touched on earlier.
That's all right.
Not in a bad touch way.
Yeah, we don't do bad touches here. That's lefties.
But Anheuser-Busch is in some trouble.
Oh, what they do now?
Yeah, Bud Light owner Anheuser-Busch is now accused of racist and sexist hiring practices that prioritized minorities in complaint filed by Trump advisors legal group during Dylan Mulvaney firestorm.
Look, pause right here before you go on. There are a ton of companies, Google included, who should be getting in trouble for this.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they've made no bones. I was trying to think of the right word to say there, but no bones about the fact that that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They are trying. James Damore, part of what he was pointing out is that Google's hiring practices, what Google wanted was more Black, brown, and women.
Yeah.
And they were hiring trying to get that. Well, that discriminates against white men. And white man, you're so it doesn't matter how privileged we are. Discrimination is wrong. Why can't you fucking get that?
Because they could create racism based on you've had it so good for so long. Then they could institute racist policies against a group.
I'm going to step away for just a second. Go ahead and start reading.
I'm going to read this. Anheuser-Busch is facing a lawsuit of a civil rights complaint, related to its programs aimed toward hiring and providing scholarships to women and minorities. America First Legal, which is led by senior members of the Trump administration, I believe that's Stephen Miller's group. I like him. He's funny. Sent a letter to the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission alleging that the world's largest brewer is engaged in discriminatory hiring practices. The group claimed that companies are using the cloak of equity to proudly discriminate based on race, color, national origin, and sex in their employment practices, according to the letter obtained by DailyMail.com. The accusations come amid a firestorm surrounding transgender social media star Dylan Mulvaney promoting Bud Light in a recent TikTok video, leading to a slew of criticism aimed at the beer and its parent company. No, the real criticism is they make shitty beer. AFL, whose president and CEO is former Trump senior advisor Stephen Miller, that's there you go, sent a complaint letter to the St. Louis, Missouri office for the EEOC requesting an investigation into Anheuser-Busch programs. One is the Leadership Accelerator program, which advertises it provides formal mentorship, executive interaction, and leadership development curriculum for those who identify with historically underrepresented groups as they join our organization in a full-time capacity. It only encourages people of Black, Native American, and Latino origin to apply. This is not a regular corporate program. Rather, the company describes the role as focusing on hiring the next generation of leaders within the North American Sustainability and Procurement Department, the AFL letter reads. In other words, it is a fast-track program to executive leadership positions at Anheuser-Busch, and it is limited to candidates based on race.
That's racist.
Absolutely it is. It's completely illegal. The Performa Equal Opportunity Employer language at the end of the posting does mask the company's discriminatory intent and purpose. Anheuser-Busch also advertises a race-based scholarship and internship program under Budweiser in partnership with the United Negro College Fund that supports 25 Black college students interested in the brewing industry. AFL alleges in its civil rights complaint that these programs are unlawful because Anheuser-Busch is a publicly traded corporation that is engaged in discriminating against certain ethnicities and races when it comes to jobs and programs it offers. The evidence is that Anheuser-Busch is knowingly, intentionally, and unlawfully discriminating based on race, color, national origin, and sex with respect to employment and job training opportunities. AFL wants the EEOC to open a civil rights investigation into Anheuser-Busch's systemic and discriminatory hiring, promotion, and job training employment practices.
You know, we used to know that basing things on race and sex was wrong, and then the people who profit off of racism and sexism were like, whoa, wait, you're going to put us out of business.
Yeah.
And so here we are.
Covers the Dylan Mulvaney thing, so you get the idea. Sure. I'm curious to see where this leads. We all know it's not going to go anywhere because the government's going to be like, no, it's okay to shit all over Whitey.
Faithless says nearly every company could be sued for this. Absolutely.
Yeah, and they probably should be because it's nonsense.
Look, you don't fight racism with racism. That's fucking retarded.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Did you want to wrap or you want to keep going?
Yeah, we are 2 hours in. We should probably wrap it up.
All right, let's do the last video and wrap this up.
The second Clown World one, right?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I gotta go here first. I'm producing again, guys. This is my producing music. Oh,
sorry.
All right, it says, I thought I was tripping this man's dog cutting the grass. All right.
Oh, I'm not fucking tripping.
Oh, that is loud as shit.
Yeah, he's a little loud. He's on the phone with somebody while he's filming this, too.
Take a picture, by Sean. Take a picture.
What the fuck?
Calm the fuck down. And that what's it called in through on
that is remote controlled.
Oh yeah.
I ain't have it in my phone.
That's awesome.
I had that in my body with my forensics in it.
Man, Sean, it's a dog on the fucking riding lawnmower cutting the fucking grass.
I heard you. That's why I said take a fucking picture.
I got a video of this shit.
I need a fucking laugh right now. I think I'm losing my motherfucking mind, son. I ain't, and you know, this motherfucker sunshine ain't take nothing today, period. But I know you hear it in my voice. I'm doing shit.
Oh, I'm not fucking.
Yeah, she's talking about something completely different. And he's like, oh, I can't believe this.
Dude, if I was driving down the road and I saw a dog driving a lawnmower, I'm with him. I would not be able to concentrate on anything else.
Yeah, I would totally be filming it too. Be like, I gotta go. There's something better happening.
Is she talking about being on her period? I'm sure not one to hear that over watching a dog mow the lawn.
Right? Yeah, you know that the dog mowing the lawn. I'm sorry. There's not many men that would pass up the opportunity to watch that. You're going to hang up on your fucking girlfriend. You listen to that bitch whine all the time. But dog on a riding lawnmower cutting the grass, that's not an everyday occurrence.
No, that's not something you see very often. Or
yeah.
That's probably the first time I've ever seen it.
Yeah, dogs just don't contribate that much.
They don't. They cuddle and maybe they'll get you a beer if you train them properly.
Yeah, or they'll at least like chase off elephants or whatever
Something
they
like
do.
that, yeah.
But mowing the lawn, that's a step up. Yeah, it's obviously like a remote controlled thing, but it's funny as shit.
I would actually say that, I mean, since he's close to a road, that might actually be dangerous for drivers.
Oh, that's insanely dangerous. Yeah.
Because that's definitely going to get people's attention.
Yeah. I mean, this guy stopped. He probably stopped in the middle of the road. I probably would too. I'm not going to lie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd
put my hazards on, but
I don't do the rubbernecking thing for like a house burning down or an accident, but that I would definitely be like, I got to stop for a second.
Yeah, I'm going to gawk at this, but at least put your hazard lights on so you're not a total dick.
Sure. Wish my dogs would mow the lawn for me. Yeah, I wish I had a remote control lawnmower. That would be fucking awesome. All right. And on that, we're going to wrap up. Guys, thanks for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Thank you so much for all the donations. You guys are very, very kind to us, and we appreciate it. Jack, anything you want to show out to this evening?
I'll drop a link or two. As always, thank you so much for the donations. You guys are awesome. It is greatly appreciated. Oh, real quick, I got a couple things here I think I missed. Thank you, Uncle Adolf. I have an idea. We seal up the mosques and add gas vents for fun. Adolf, you can't add laughing gas does not work for everybody. Sometimes you need other methods. And thank you, Easter Bunny. Surprise, bitch! It's Ether Bunny. Get it? Ether Bunny?
I got it.
Thank you, Easter Bunny, for that. But yes, thank you guys so much for the donations. You guys are awesome. And we appreciate you coming out every night and supporting us.
My birthday's coming up, Jack. It's going to be on the 22nd of this month, as it is every year.
Oh, so it is. So it is.
But I'm not bringing that up because it's my birthday. Instead, I'm bringing it up because on that night, at 10 p.m., I'm supposed to be at the link I just put into chat. Over on the Hapitarian show, Petite Nikoko and her husband, Shane. I will be joining them that evening. So mark that and come hang out with us that night, guys. That'll be this Saturday.
Nice.
I'll be over on twitch.tv/ranting monkey here in just a few minutes. I'm going to be finishing up with, well, it's not finishing up because there's not really an end, but I went through the story on No Man's Sky, and I'm going to be going through the portal to show people what happens afterwards. Oh. We finished up with Harry Potter last night. Oh, I took just a couple of moments to do a couple of things, and it made it so that final battle was not that big of a deal. Still not exactly as ready to have fought that battle as I should have been, Jack. I should have went out and got more practice before I did it.
Oh,
but
we
finally did finish that, and then me and Bubba played some. What did we play? Oh, Phasmo. We did the weekly challenge, which was actually one of the more difficult ones they give you. But because we're professionals, it was pretty easy.
Well, that is the side benefit of being a professional.
Indeed. But you can check that out still. I was on with Satsu this morning on 2 Cents Plus talking about the 7 Days to Die thing. But right now, if you want to see more of me, I will be over on twitch.tv/rantingmonkey. I already did your shilling, right? I already asked you if you wanted to shill. You did that?
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to pretend I'm doing something cool too, but I'm going to go on a little field trip to do some filming. So that's all I got going on.
Last night when we were done with this show and I'm going to go do the games channel, I walk out into the hallway and Phoebe's there and I pick her up and one side of her is warm, which indicates she's been sleeping with Lady Monkey. And I pick her up and I'm petting her and she's really enjoying the petting. So I take her out into a chair out there and we lay down and she jumps. And I'm like, what? What'd you hear? And then I start hearing sounds that don't sound like a little animal or anything, but not quite like a human. But it was Lady Monkey getting up. I didn't realize how late we were yesterday.
Yeah, we were super late.
She gets up and I'm like, baby, why are you up so early? And she goes, it's 6. I was like, oh, well, yeah, that makes more sense. The main point of that is me and Phoebe got lots of cuddle times in.
Aw.
Yeah. So, guys, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Jack, pleasure as always, my friend.
Oh, I'm always glad to be here.
Have a good night, guys. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you later.
Hi, everybody.
Come watch me on Twitch, where I play video games. Painted myself in a corner because I don't know what rhymes with games.
Flames.